studied in a madrasa. When they were born, what did they do? They studied with their parents. They studied in a local area. They had to go through alif, ba, ta, tha, jim. They had to scream out the letter kha. They went through all of that. And then they finished their qaida with tammat bil khair. And then they moved on to the juz amma. Then slowly, alif lam mim, dhalikal kitab, la rayba fi, all the way till minal jinnati wan nas. Then going over the translation, all praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of all worlds, the most merciful, extremely merciful, master of the day of judgment. To you alone we worship, you alone we ask from help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those that you have favored upon, those beloved ones, not those that have gone astray, not those that have got your anger upon them. Then he went through the translation, then he went behind the Shan-e-Nuzul, Shan-e-Wurud, and like this, then he went to the Usul of Hadith, he went through Usul al-Tafsir, and they go through many phases. They spend their youth behind books, in front of a ustad. They learn, they seek knowledge until they become masters, and then the ustad, they trust them, and they get a turban, they wrap it around this individual's head, and they say, we have trusted this person with knowledge now, and this individual now, they have become a alim, they have become a Mawlāna, they are graduates of a madrasa. So they went through different phases to get something. So for that you have to put effort in. But there is something that you do not work for, something that you do not earn, something that you do not put effort behind. It's just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved you, chose you, trusted you so much that He enabled this blessing upon you. And the chosen ones are all the prophets that came. One is the start of prophethood. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the first prophet. One is the announcement of the prophethood. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's announcement was the final announcement. The prophets, they were chosen, they were given prophethood. No one in the world can go through stages and train or educate themselves, go to an institute and learn how to become a prophet. No one can do that. Similarly, the companions that were around Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose each and every single one of them. Now when Allah chooses someone, who am I to object on them? नबी अताई चीज है, ये इख्तियारी नहीं. कोई शख्स अपनी मेहनत से नबी नहीं बन सकता. बिल्कुल इसी तरह मकाम सहाबियत ये अताई है. कोई शख्स अपनी मेहनत से सहाबी नहीं बन सकता. 10 साल 20 साल लगातार रोजे रखे, मकाम सहाबियत तक नहीं पहुंच पाएगा. जहां के कुतुब अपने दिमाग में बिठा ले, हिफ्ज कर ले, फकाहत में बेइंतहा गहराई पैदा कर ले, अहादीस उसके ज़बान पर फिल फूर जारी हो जाए और कुरान के हर नस नस से वाकिफ हो, फिर भी और अमल में जुनैद बगदादी और बायजीद बस्तानी तक पहुंच जाए, लेकिन फिर भी मकाम सहाबियत हासिल नहीं कर सकता. No matter how practicing a person becomes, no matter how knowledgeable a person becomes, no matter how pious they become, but they cannot attain that level, that title of a Sahabi. That is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today, if someone tells me and you, oh such and such a Sahabi, they did this, our reply is, what is your source? Your source is the books of history. Who is that author? No clue whatsoever. What mentality was that author of? No clue whatsoever. So historical facts or historical incidents compared to someone that has been chosen by Allah, we will say, I'm sorry, we put your history aside, because Sahaba, they were chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when someone is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that makes them religious figures. Sahaba and the Prophets, they were not historical people. They were religious people. We have been taught about them through Quran and through ahadith. Through the text of the Quran and through the text, the statements, the narrations of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have been taught regarding them through these two sources. So if I want to judge a Sahabi, I will have to go to the Quran. And when I go to the Quran tells me, وَكُلًّا وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الْحُسْنَى. Each and every single Sahabi, they have been promised husna. And then we ask the Quran, tafsir Quran with the Quran, translation of the Quran via Quran. And we ask the Quran, what do you mean husna? Quran tells us, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ سَبَقَتْ لَهُمْ مِنَّ الْحُسْنَى. Those that have been granted husna, ulaika anha mubadun. They have been kept away, they have been protected, they have been protected from hellfire. So each and every single Sahabi, they have been given husna. And what is husna? They have been protected from hellfire. And then we ask the Quran, tell us the achievements regarding the Sahaba. Quran tells us, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. Imagine that title. Number one, the status that they have been given. It is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No individual can go to a school or uni or whatever form of institute that they want to go to, and they cannot attain this level of becoming a Sahabi. And not just that they have been chosen as Sahaba. The Sahaba, they have been chosen by Allah, but Allah has also mentioned in the Quran, clear cut, till the day of judgment, Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Sahaba, they have done a lot for this deen. They have given a lot of sacrifices. Eid al-Adha, we sacrificed an animal for the sake of Allah. I hope we did for the sake of Allah anyway. If we haven't, we can still rectify our intentions. If there has been some, dilute in our intentions, we must do istighfar only for the sake of Allah. Now, we sacrificed an animal, but they sacrificed themselves for the sake of Allah. People want to burn the Quran. They want to burn the Quran. Why? So we want to prove to the world that Muslims are intolerant. Muslims are intolerant. But when you look at them, this action of burning the Quran itself is a definition of them being intolerant.